Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot mother freaking topics. I'm sorry, y'all. I usually put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I forgot for a little minute. Anywho, to all my new subscribers, which I've got an influx of you guys, good to see you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can get all of my notifications when my videos drop. Hope your holiday weekend was well. And let's get into this Dear Deja letter. Dear Deja, I need your expert advice. So my cousin started a business, which I'm very proud of him for. And because I'm a very supportive family member, I want to show my cousin some love. But he has started a tarot card, moon rocks and crystals. Let me read your palm, look in my crystal ball, and prophesize over your life business. Deja, I love my cousin, I really do, but I borderline think he's schizophrenic and using the spirits to mask it. Which wouldn't bother me if that was what he was doing for himself. But now he's incorporating other people, and if I'm being honest, I don't want any parts of that. I'm spiritual, which is why I don't play with the spirits. I don't want to tell my cousin he might be in over his head, but I can't get behind these antics, and I don't want it to come across like I'm not supporting my cousin. Please help me approach this from a perspective that helps me maintain a good relationship with my cousin and also honor my own beliefs regarding spirituality. I know you'll find a perfect way to help me. Please do. Signed, I have to give it some thought if I want to support. All right. All righty then. All righty then. Shout out to the cousin. Shout out to the cousin. Shout out to the cousin. Because it seems as though he may feel he has some talents in a certain area and he wants to utilize those talents to make it lucrative for him, right? Love that, love that, love that. I really, really love that because a lot of times that's what makes people successful is the fact that they're good at something and then they're also using it to get paid, using whatever they're good at to get paid to do it, right? So shout out to the cousin for even having the wherewithal, to want to try something like that. So I can applaud that, right? Shout out to you. Shout out to you because what you did say was normally you're a supportive family member, and if it's something that your family has going on, I can almost imagine that you jump on board and kind of lend a hand and so on and so forth. So shout out to the both of y'all. Um, let's start it from the top. One of the things that you said was that he has started like a tarot card reading, crystals business, right? So I'm assuming that he's using the cards. I don't know because I've never had a reading before, but I'm assuming that he's using the cards and telling people about their future. That's what I think happens there, or what's going on in their life, or how they could proceed moving forward, yada, yada, yada. A lot of times when you get in that field, it is more than likely, in my opinion, about intuition. Right? And I'll say that because I can almost liken it to Operation Hill 100 Hearts. No, I'm not a licensed therapist. No, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So what I'm doing is just giving my advice based on something that you're sharing with me and my intuition about what you're sharing with me. I honestly don't necessarily know how the tarot card business works. So to say that your cousin might be in over his head, I would be asking you in the Operation Hill 100 Hearts session for you to share with me some of the things that's making you think that he doesn't have the skill set and the talent to do what he has chosen to. Right? And the reason why I would be asking you that is because remember, you said that one of the things you want to do is to share with your cousin that you don't think this is the best decision for him. And while I want you to do so, I think you need to start it off with facts because basically the only thing that you're doing is giving your opinion if you're not coming with facts. And folks can tend to feel like when you're giving them a negative opinion about something that they're positive about, that you're being a hater. Right? So I would definitely have to ask you, what are the facts? What are some of the things that would suggest? One of the things that you said is that it seems as though it may be a mental health issue there. Is there any evidence to support that? Any facts? Any diagnosis? What ammunition do you have to say that? Or is that once again just your opinion? Right? That's one. Two on the list is that support can look different support can come in many different ways, right? Many different ways, many different forms. I had to learn that when starting my own business, because a lot of times there would be things that you need people to do for you directly, and for whatever reason they don't do it or can't do it, but then there's other ways that they do things for you that help you to do what you need to do. So like case in point, right? When I used to do Operation Heal 100 Hearts mixers, right? At those events, I would have people stand up and tell their story. I would have games to be played. I would have activities going on. You know, it's just a lot of participation, right? I probably could have a family member that would say to me, Khadijah, listen, I can't be up here pouring out my whole life story and running around with these games you got going on, but I'll be the bartender or the food server if you need me to be, right? And I do need I did need a bartender or a food server or a food server at those events. So I still got your support. I still got your support. It just came in a different form. So while you may not be too interested in, I'm guessing, purchasing a tarot card reading or anything of the sort to show your support, maybe, you know, just buying your cousin some new cards, maybe showing up and being around and doing anything that he needs for you to do. You know what I'm saying? You can look for other ways to support your cousin, because if you don't want to jeopardize, you know, your relationship with spirituality, and you don't want to jeopardize your relationship with your cousin, then you got to find a way to make sure that you're staying true to both, right? And one of the things, like I said, I would have to ask is that this thing that you're saying about him, you know, he might be in over his head. There may be some mental health issues. We're going to need the meats and the potatoes of how you're supporting those statements. So say case in point, something happened where he was called and taken to the hospital. Has he been diagnosed? You know, what are some of the things that would suggest what you're saying can be truth and you have evidence to support it? Right? Trying to have the conversation can be easy because you can definitely tailor it to your relationship with spirituality. Some people, you know, are religious. Some people are spiritual. What I feel about religion and spirituality is, once again, they're two separate things. I'm not really a religious person, but I am heavily spiritual, right? And in being heavily spiritual, I rely on the heavenly spirit, which I believe is God. You know, everybody had their right to agree or disagree, to do everything that I need done, right? So when it comes to, you know, me having to receive what I need done via another person or third party, I have to look at it from either one or two ways. How did this message come to me? And what do I feel about the message that I'm receiving? So you can basically say to your cousin, like, you know, I'm into the spirits, right? And what you're doing is wonderful, but I'm not into dealing with third parties and my spirituality, right? But because you're my cousin and I love you and I want to support you, is there any other way that I could show my support as a family member, as opposed to you either giving me a tarot card reading or however the process works that he needs his support in regarding his business? And I mean, to some degree, like I said, there will be some peek at you, because you must be coming with some proof to support why you're saying that you don't trust me to do what I'm telling you I'm talented and good enough and should be getting paid for doing. You know, and you got to be careful also and mindful, because sometimes people can be sensitive about their gifts. You know, I'm definitely one of those people. I actually said that on my Operation Heal 100 Hearts 10th year anniversary last week. I talked about how sensitive and how overprotective I am over Operation Heal 100 Hearts. And that's just because while many other people can say, Khadijah, you're not a licensed therapist, you're not a psychiatrist or psychologist, so on and so forth, I take what I do very seriously, even when others don't. You know, so somebody comes and says something against it or tries to downplay it or tries to discredit it, I can be very sensitive and overprotective, because I do honestly believe in my heart of heart that it's God's gift to me. Right? And I want to nurture what God has given me. Your cousin may feel the same. Your cousin may very well feel the same. And because he feels that way, if you try to approach him A, without facts, and B, discrediting what he's taking very seriously, it may cause an issue for you and Cuzzo. Alrighty, so let's heal it, will up, bring it back, come rewind. Let's go back a little bit. Number one on the list, right? What are the facts to support that this person is getting in over their head? There's some mental health issues, and basically they don't know what they're doing. You have to give me where's the support. And once again, that could be episodes that has taken place in the physical, that could be documentation, and it just has to be something tangible for your cousin to understand. I can see why you think that way. Whether I agree with it or not is another story, but I can see why you think that way, because once again, once he can't understand why you're saying what you're saying, especially when it's negative, and I'm trying to do something that I view as positive, I'm going to think you're being a hater, right? So you got to be able to get all these documents together to know that, and all this proof together to know that you might have to lay it out for your cousin. Let me also ask this though, before you even get there to say anything to your cousin to move forward, you have to ask yourself, is this your opinion? Is this your opinion? And you need to be honest with yourself and lay out how you feel versus what is facts. Because that's another thing that people get misconstrued on many occasions. They fuck up feelings and facts, right? Feelings are not facts. Why you think you hear the saying, there's your side of the story, there's their side of the story, and then somewhere in the middle there's the truth, right? I pride myself on bringing up the facts, right? Now, whether the facts suggest what I'm feeling is correct, that can be argued. But what can't be argued is the facts, right? So I think you need to really sit down and question yourself and say, is what I'm feeling really because of what I seen, know, and what has taken place? Or is it just an assumption I'm making, right? That's one on the list. Two on the list is I will also encourage you, before you even said anything, to maybe go sit in on one of those sessions and see what they look like, if possible. I don't know if these things are done privately or not, because I'm not familiar with tarot card reading. But maybe also sitting in and observing how your cousin do what they do. Because if your cousin does have clientele, and folks that are purchasing and things are working out for your cousin, then that may very well mean that he's on to something, even if you don't see it that way. Right? So that's another thing you might also want to consider is, let me check out what you do and how you do it, so then I can know if I'm just making this assumption out of the clear blue sky or if there's really something there, right? Also getting deep, if you haven't already, and having a conversation with your cousin about what they do. Like, okay, A, what made you get into this? What do you feel when you do it? What do you feel after? How are you getting these messages? How does tarot card reading work? And again, your cousin won't give you every single deep, because that's for their personal information, but they might want to fill you in and loop you in so you can feel more confident and trusting that what I'm doing is a good thing and not a negative thing, right? Another thing is also, having some clear-cut conversation with Cuzzo about some of your reservations, as long as they're real. And it's not up to Cuzzo, me, or anybody else to tell you you need to get a tarot card reading or whatever other things that your cousin does during their sessions. But if you are looking to support, and that's something that they want you to do to show support, then you have to have the conversation as clear cut and as blatant as you like. You also have to be open-minded. Because you will probably get some feedback from the cousin that either A, you didn't think about, B, doesn't make a lick of sense to you, or C, you don't agree with. With all of those things considered, you still keep an open mind about what's being shared with you. Because remember, this is your cousin's thing. This is your cousin's thing. So they will have a lot more input to share with you, and there'll also be a lot more conversations they want to have with you regarding their thing, because like I said, we can get sensitive about our ish. And you will have folks such as yourself reminding him, because I've had it happen to me, how you're not a licensed this and you're not a certified in that, and you didn't go to school for this, and you didn't. And while I understand that oh too well, and I actually accept people who say, listen, if you haven't been certified in this, went to school for that, and licensed in this, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I honestly respect those people. What I need them to understand and respect is that that doesn't stop what I'm doing. That does not stop what I'm doing. So while you may come up with facts and feelings and everything else that your cousin needs to hear, the only thing they're going to want to hear in the end is, do I have your support? And once again, you have to find a good way to say, okay, I can support you in this or not. Or not. So try to get a little bit more creative and look around for other ways to support your cousin. Like what I just said. I said, listen, if I used to have them functions, my family member would be like, listen, I can't get up in front of the crowd and be running around acting all crazy, but do you need me to serve the food? Do you need me to check in with folks at the door? You know, they did other jobs to support me. You can find other ways to support your cousin. You just have to get creative and figure it out so it works out for you, him, and everybody else. Because the last thing you don't want to do, especially when you're the supportive family member or friend, the hardest thing is not showing up and supporting somebody for something. They take it very personal because they know that's what you do. Right? And especially when you haven't given an explanation or you haven't shared with me why or what happened, or yes, they definitely take it personal. I am definitely, that has happened to me quite a few times. You know, so if you're not going to be who you normally are, which is the supportive, loving cousin that wants to see you shine and flourish, you have to really, really explain why. And also, if you do want to be the great and beautiful cousin that miraculously still support, you find another way. Find another way. Say, listen, I can't get my tarot cards read, but I'll tell you what, you want me to order you some off wherever you get tarot cards from? You need me to help you find a space where you can do your readings? Is there any type of material that you need to do them in? Is there any location that you need to be in that I can contribute something to that space? Hell, maybe I'll collect the money and get the door. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely other ways that you could assist your cousin where it looks like you're not just saying F them and what they have going on. Right? And even I want to say this too. You know, I know you brought up that your cousin can be in over his head. There may be some mental health issues. Examine those things. Examine those things with your cousin. And I don't mean say them outright in a nasty way and being disrespectful and sarcastic and making your cousin feel away. But no, you can honestly just say to him, like, you know, from some of your actions and behaviors in the past, how confident are you with doing this work with other people? And also, what makes you feel so confident? I would love to know. You know, I've had people come to me plenty of times and say, you know, well, how you know you healing a person's heart? And my response is always because of the transformation that I see. Because of the transformation that I'm able to observe. That's how I know if the work is working. Not to mention you get feedbacks and, you know, people come back and get more sessions. And so it kind of lets you know, okay, what I'm doing is working. But more importantly, I'm able to physically observe the transformation. You know, a lot of times in this field of work, you meet a lot of pessimists. You meet a lot of pessimists. They're going to tell you every single thing that's going to go wrong in every situation. And the reason why they're feeling like that is because they're so nervous and they're so busy banking on things going wrong because they've been hurt. But at Operation Heal 100 Hearts, when you start to heal some of that pain, you're not always looking at things from a negative perspective. Now you're looking at it from a positive one. So now I get phone calls and text messages like, oh, you know what, girl, I've been on this diet for 60 doggone days, and you know what, I was supposed to lose 10 pounds. I only lost 4. Look at God. I thought I wasn't going to lose none. I'm happy I lost the 4 instead of sitting around complaining about not losing the 10. Right? So there's glass half empty, there's glass half full. As long as you are on a healing journey, it can very much look like the glass is half full. You get to decide how you want to view all of your situations that take place around you. You know, so you can definitely ask him questions like, you know, what makes you feel so confident? How did you start doing this? What's your feeling when you do it? And how do you measure results? I just shared with you guys one of the things that I do to measure results, which is I see physically the transformation of them being a pessimist to them being an optimist. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but it happens. Which is what lets me know, oh, okay, what I'm doing for others and with others really works. You know, not to mention all the work I've done on myself. So yes, 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 my dear. I think it's plenty of ways for you to support Cuzzo. I think you got it. I just think that you have to stop looking at things from a pessimist perspective and just be very real with yourself and be very real and genuine with your cousin. But first, like I just said, be real with yourself. Be real with yourself and make sure you're not just trying to downplay and discredit what your cousin is doing because you have your own personal thoughts about him. Please come with some facts that would suggest what you're feeling. And if at that point you and your cousin want to have a sit down, I'm pretty sure it could work out well as long as you're being honest and forthcoming and letting your cousin know, I'm not saying these things to be malicious, but also make sure you're not saying those things to be malicious. But the only way that I would know is if you came for your Operation Heal 100 Heart session. Because in your Operation Heal 100 Heart session, I would be able to have the conversation with you about what you're feeling about your cousin and some of your own internal struggles. Let's take it all away from that. It could also be that maybe you want to start a business and you don't have the confidence to do so. So now you're trying to discredit your cousin because they do. I don't know. But again, I will be finding out when you come for your Operation Heal 100 Heart session. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate this letter. I really, really do. To all my new subbies, how y'all doing? To all my old subbies, you know I love you and I'm happy you here. Also, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos when they drop. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. And also drop down in the comment section. Did you appreciate the feedback I gave her? Is it working out? Do you think that I could have gave something a little better? Do you have a different perspective? These letter writers want to hear from you. So do I. As long as it's not disrespectful, I do not debate and I do not delete. Everything is up for discussion. So thank you again and enjoy your day. Is it done? Oh, Lord. Tal